Like many, I used to tell my clients all the time, you don't get results when you work out, you get results when you recover. But now, understanding things on a more fundamental level on how fitness actually works, I realized just how wrong that advice was. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. My friend Matt Schifferly here with another video to help you be fit and live free. And today we're looking at recovery as it pertains to calisthenics training and what you can do to help you get better results and not hold yourself back. Probably the first lesson to understand about whole recovery and calisthenics thing is you don't need any sort of special recovery methods just because you're doing calisthenics. This is a bigger, broader kind of issue that happens a lot in our fitness culture, where people will think, well, if I'm doing a different type of physical discipline, then I need some sort of new way to basically impact the basic principles that are the same with that discipline. Because remember that calisthenics fundamentally is just another form of weightlifting, which means that for the most part, it is the same thing as weightlifting. The programming is the same, the workouts are the same, and yes, even the recovery strategies are the same. You don't need anything special or different just because you don't have a dumbbell in your hand. The second most important thing to understand is you don't need to do anything for recovery at all. And that's because your recovery will happen completely on autopilot without any effort or attention on your part whatsoever. Because when we look at a lot of the things that have a big influence on your recovery, the biggest by far is sleep. So you want to make sure you're getting good sleep habits, good consistent sleep, and having good sound sleep as well. The second influence is diet. Make sure you're getting plenty of good food, plenty of nutrient-dense food, and plenty of protein. Now, when you look at those two habits, these are things that it's not like, well, I'd better be sleeping well and eating well because I'm doing calisthenics or I'm working out. No, those are things you should just be doing anyway for a healthier lifestyle. And the third and probably most important thing to understand for regard to results from your workouts is that you don't get results from recovery. You get results from adaptation, because the old adage about how exercise has supposedly worked is you stress your body during exercise and then you get results through recovery. And there's a very heavy correlation between those things, but no, you don't get an effective workout because you stress out your body. You get it because you create a fundamental stimulus that effectively is like downloading new instructions into your body on how you want it to perform and behave. And then you want your body to be able to adapt to that stimulus, whether building muscle, improving your cardiovascular capacity, endurance, and so on. Because you can have stress without much of a stimulus, and you'll always have recovery, but not necessarily adaptation. So you want to keep your focus on creating an effective stimulus, which I got plenty of videos for, and I cover those in my books ad nauseum. I'll put some links down below. So you want to focus on that stimulus, and then ensure that your adaptation is happening, and that includes the recovery steps like your sleep and your diet and everything like that. But don't just assume that you're going to have adaptation because you have recovery, or that you're going to have a stimulus just because you beat yourself up in the gym. Possibly one of the most important things you can do to ensure you have recovery and give yourself a bit of a more advantage for that adaptation is to not necessarily need as much recovery in the first place. So when we're going into the gym and we're thinking, I've got to smash, bash, thrash, and trash my body, then yes, you are going to be requiring a lot more recovery from that. But as the research consistently shows that yes, you do need some degree of stress on the body and some amount of work in order to create a stimulus for a lot of things, particularly like building muscle, but there seems to be a threshold. And when you go beyond that threshold, you're creating more stress on the body, therefore requiring a lot more recovery, which basically means more time that you need and more sleep and more food and so on between workouts. But there's not necessarily any more stimulus. So you're basically paying a lot more to get the same thing out of your workouts. And that's one of the big advantages that people are finding, myself included, with the 2-set training strategy that I have for my pack-in workouts in my upcoming Beautiful Strength program, where each exercise you do, you limit yourself to 2 sets. And not only can that potentially help you create a much stronger stimulus for building muscle and strength, but because you're not just doing endless volume and a lot of junk volume, then it also means that you're not going to need nearly as much recovery. So you're helping yourself on that side as well. I'll put a link down below to the video and the podcast on my 2-set strategy in the notes, and you can check that out. And that's not to say that things like the massage guns and the protein shakes and things like that aren't helpful. They certainly can be. But regarding their relationship to recovery and adaptation, their role is relatively small compared to sleep and diet. So by all means, implement them, especially if it helps you feel good. Like I use this massage gun because it helps me feel good. But I'm certainly not under any illusion that this is really doing a whole lot for my ability to recover any faster or to build muscle. So best of luck in your workouts this week. Thank you very much for watching. Be fit and live free.